please do. And it's really well written. And Lars Helenius has also been on a tour in Sweden and on the Kola Venezuela last year to tell about the book.
Tämä kirja on tosiaan hyvin kirjoitettu, sitä on mielenkiintoinen ja miellyttävä lukea. Ja Lars Helenius on kiertänyt sekä Ruotsissa että sitten Kolan nimimaalla tästä kertomassa.
Och vi kan inte ha en konferens i Haparanda utan att prata om bastu.
Ja kokousta ei voida pitää Haparannalla puhumatta samalla myös saunasta.
Det här är vår guide i Haparanda. Du kan väl komma fram, Kenneth?
Tässä meidän oppaamme Haparannalla. Kenneth, olet tervetullut esille.
Och Kenneth har gjort en bok om bastu. Kan du berätta lite kort om den?
Kenneth on tehnyt kirjan saunasta.
Det här är alltså en fotobok som är publicerad och den tar upp den arktiska bastun. Och det är alltså bilder från Ryssland, Finland och Sverige.
Tässä on kirja, joka kertoo saunasta. Siinä on paljon valokuvia ja se kertoo juuri tästä arktisesta saunasta. Ja siinä on Venäjältä, Suomesta ja Ruotsista valokuvia.
Och tanken bakom det är också bastuns mytologi, semiotik, alltså de djupare dimensionerna på vår gemensamma bastu.
Ja tässä on pohjana tämä saunan mytologia, että tässä pureudutaan syvemmin saunan juuriin.
Och jag har gjort den här tillsammans med professor Nikolaj Terebichin i Arkhangelsk.
Olen arkangelsilaisin Nikolaj Terebichin kanssa tehnyt tämän kirjan.
Som har liksom förklarat folktradition, symboler och mytologi i den ryska folkliga bastun, banjan.
Joka on kertonut tästä venäläisen saunan banjanin mytologisesta ja kansallisesta perinteistä.
Så den här är alldeles ny och den finns också till försäljning.
Tämä on aivan uusi ja tämäkin voi ostaa täältä.
Tack Kenneth Mikko. Och det blir ju ny guidad visning med dig här ikväll. Igår så gick vi i mörker.
Tänään tulee uusi opastettu kiertokävely täällä. Eilenhän me saimme kokea saman, mutta silloin oli pimeätä, nyt tehdään se valosan aikaan.
Okay, then we go on to English. Yeah. Everything for you. So, tonight, yesterday evening we had a guided walk with Kenneth Mikko, and it will be another one this evening. Now it's more daytime today, but it was very, very nice yesterday. We were all together, 23, who went on this guided tour in Haparanda. So that was about sauna. And we can't be in the Barents region without thinking of, look at this title. The book title is The Ice is Melting.
Tässä on siis aiheena jää on sulamassa ja tämähän liittyy hyvin läheisesti tähän meidän Barentsin alueeseen.
And this book is a Norwegian woman. Are you here?
Tässä on norjalainen
please come on. You have to speak for the book.
Saat kertoa kirjasta.
Applaud. Yeah. So this seems to be a very, very nice book. Can you tell about it in English?
Tämä tuntuu olevan hyvin kiva, mukava kirja. Voisitko kertoa lisää englannin kielellä?
It's a book about climate change, and it started in Spitsbergen, which is a small island in the north, which you probably know, where the melting of the ice is really speeding up.
Tämä kertoo siis ilmastonmuutoksista ja se alkaa tuolla Huippuvuorilla, joka on pieni saari Norjan ulkopuolella, ja siellä tämä jäiden sulaminen on kiihtynyt hyvin nopeasti.
So we were some people who are really concerned about what's going on in the world when it comes to climate change. People from the church, scientists, journalists, writers, who together have been writing this book, talking about the ethics about what is happening in the north.
Tässä tosiaan ihmiset, jotka ovat huolissaan tästä ilmastonmuutoksesta, ovat kirjoittaneet, tässä on ihmisiä kirkosta ja tiedemiehiä ja journalisteja ja kirjailija, jotka miettivät tätä etiikkaa tähän liittyen.
It may sound very serious and boring, but it isn't. It's a beautiful book with a lot of pictures and a lot of nice voices.
Tämä saattaa tuntua vähän tylsältä tämä aihe ehkä, mutta tämä kirja on erittäin kaunis. Tässä on paljon kauniita kuvia ja kaunista kirjoittamista myös.
And here you can read about the book and order it. And you will be here, so you can also speak about the book. And you had another one too as well. And,
tämän avulla voi tilata tämän kirjan, mutta sulla on toinenkin kirja.
I'm so happy that you brought some books to this meeting. And tell us about this book.
The other book is not from our region, but it's from the Middle East. Because I've been working in Lebanon for some years in a Palestinian refugee camp doing writing courses for women.
Tämä toinen kirja ei ole täältä päin, vaan se on tuolta Keski-idästä. Ja olen ollut töissä tämmöisessä palestiinalaisessa pakolaisleirissä. Ja tämä kertoo sitten siitä ruoanlaitosta.
So I met this beautiful woman called Amira, and she invited me into her kitchen and started to teach me how to cook the Palestinian food. So this is the book that comes from a Palestinian refugee camp, probably the first one in the world.
Tapasin tämän kauniin naisen Amiran, joka kutsui minut keittiönsä ja opetti minut laittamaan ruokaa. Ja tämä on varmaan maailman ensimmäinen kirja, joka on pakolaisleirin ruoanlaitosta kertoo.
Thank you very much. So please look at the book. The ice is melting. And the other one about cooking.
Ja toinen kirja kertoo ruoanlaitosta.
So now we have sauna, cooking, glaciers, and of course we should have a book about mining.
Eli tässä on kirjat saunasta ja ruoanlaitosta ja jään sulamisesta, ja tietenkin pitää olla kirja myös kaivostyöstä.
And this is actually my own book about the lead mine of Laisvall in Arjeplog.
Eli tämä on minun oma kirjoittama kirja, joka kertoo tästä Laisvallin lyijykaivoksesta.
And it's with me here, and I'm going to produce a coming up book now about mining, which is really a hot area of discussion.
Tämä on todellakin semmoinen aihe, mistä paljon keskustellaan, ja tulossa on vielä kakkoskirja tähän jatkeeksi.
And we have other books, and this is a very interesting book. It's a production with Norway, Sweden.
Tässä on toinen erittäin kiinnostava kirja, joka on Ruotsin ja Norjan yhteistyössä tehty.
The name is Från kust till kyst.
Eli nimi on, se oikeastaan siinä on sekä Ruotsi että Norja, mutta se on niin kuin rannikolta rannikolle.
It's about the Sami area of Piteå.
Se on Piteån saamelaisalueesta kertoo.
And what is the book about, in English or Swedish?
The book is about a man who lives here in Haparanda. His name is Arvo, and he came to Sweden from Finland when he was young. And it's a story about a man with a very not good lung disease. He is probably dying because of this. He can breathe with about 32% of his lungs. So it is a book about this disease and how it is to live with it, but also how it is to come from another country and live in a new country.
And Linda, what has the reaction been about the book?
The reaction is very good. It is a lot of people that really likes to read the book, and there is a
Association.
Yes, tack. And there is an association in Sweden, Hjärt- och lungföreningen, that has started to read this all together around Sweden, and in November they are having a week when they are going to talk about the book and talk with the doctors in Sweden for getting better care of people with lung diseases.
And about the last question here, about cool. Is there a name of it in English, do you know? Does everyone know what it is? Cool. It's affect your lungs, partly with smoking.
Maybe you could say chronic lung disease or something like that.
Yeah. So, Linda, you will be here with the book, and it's possible to sell. It's also in the bookshop here, the wonderful shop Tornedalen here at the square in Haparanda. So thank you very much for listening for the books, and next time bring whatever you have and we show it. And greetings and applaud to Linda for her writings.
My name is Arnold Trellevik. I'm the chairman of Barents Press, Norway. This is Michael Miller. He is a photographer, 34 years old. Yeah. He is from down under, and now he's living in the far north, Australia. You work in Kirkenes-Murmansk in Kirkenes.
Yep.
That's a group of artists and producers, curators, making festivals and art. You're a well-known photographer, and you have done a lot of stuff in the north, in Kirkenes-Murmansk.
Yes.
And you're going to tell us why you did it, how you did it, and how you ended up here in the north.
Yeah.
Okay?
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me today as well. Today I'd like to present some photographs I took in Murmansk. It was my first trip to Russia, and it kind of is a loose story about the city and the people who live there. I was really interested in the young people that live there and what they do and how they interact with the city. So this is the first image from the story. It kind of sets the overall tone. It kind of describes topography and the way people live in Murmansk. It doesn't tell you a lot about what goes on under the surface, but it's a good introduction. Next, I kind of wanted to illustrate the industry that exists in the city. Murmansk is an industrial town, and I was really interested in that. I was really interested in Kirkenes for the same reason. I find industrial cities really exciting. Some workers that I met wandering around the city. They, despite their appearance, they're actually very friendly guys, and I took this photograph. It kind of ties in with this one here. Yeah? Just a little bit. Sure. There you go. Thanks. Yeah, so again, just kind of highlighting the industrial history of the city. This photograph here is a bit of a pause in the progression, and it kind of works with here. So basically what I found in Murmansk is there's this outward appearance of maybe shabbiness and neglected areas, but then inside there's these spaces which are immaculately cared for. The level of perfection here was amazing. The pots were all perfectly spaced, and there was not a dead leaf on any of these plants. And that was a really interesting contrast between these two images. This is the first image, which is maybe a bit more personal, and this talks about the friends that I made in Murmansk. So within the story, there's a series of portraits. The portraits themselves are quite formal in a way. Give too much away about what the person is actually about, but then within the book, it's laid out a description of what the person does. With the portraits, I wanted a kind of uniform look and feel to them. These were photographed on a larger format camera, so it gives you a bit more depth to the image. It was also important to tie the person to the landscape as well. I wandered around with Anton for some time, and found this perfect location to photograph him. His shirt, the checks on his shirt perfectly line up or mirror the building. So does the grey and the blue as well. It was just more by chance than anything else. We spent an hour walking around, and when we came to this spot, it was perfect. But the way that I work when I'm making a photo story is quite methodical. It's important. Take it on. Again, I wanted to kind of match the landscape to the person and kind of really embed them into the city. So I found that, I mean, the skin tones of the walls and then the tattoo on the arm kind of matches the tree, and it's a loose connection, but visually it works quite well. Again, using colour to match the jacket with the street. This is a portrait that was a little bit different, and I didn't know if I was going to put it into the series or not, but it works quite well. It's more of a classic kind of composition. The horizon is more or less 2/3 up the frame, and you have these lead-in lines directing your attention to the face. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't quite fit with the others, but I still put it in. And then a bit of a break, kind of back to the atmospherics of the city. There's two portraits in the series which are a bit more intimate as well. This is in this guy's apartment. It's a bit more relaxed, and it kind of is a bit of a break, really, to the formality of the others. And it's also important to put in breaks. If you're doing a larger photo story, you can kind of split it up a little bit with more abstract images that give the viewer a bit of a rest, and it's like punctuation, really. So this was important to me. This is like my everyday existence in Murmansk. I was there for a month, and besides the importance to me, it doesn't carry so much relative to the story. This image is another one of the personal ones in a private space. This is his office, and he was explaining to me his career and his history. He's the head of the Philharmonie in Murmansk, and I didn't direct him to take his shoes off and to get up on the chair, but when he did it, I knew it was, a really great shot, so I told him to hold it. I also think, I don't think I could have visited Murmansk without looking at the kind of Soviet grandeur of the city. But I didn't want to photograph a statue of Lenin or Aloysia. I felt like that was maybe in a way too obvious. So instead I looked at this other symbology, which, it leaves more of an interpretation up to the viewer. If this was just a bust of Lenin, it tells the past, but it doesn't allow the viewer to kind of explore and make their own decisions about the place. This photograph, well, this series of photographs ties in with the first portrait of a guy named Oleg. This is the party that he was arranging when I met him. And it was really amazing, the energy and the life in the city was something that surprised me. I expected to find quite a dry industrial kind of place, but there's a lot of things happening and happening regularly as well. And the image on the right was, yeah, quite unusual for me. This, where I'm from, people of this age don't sit down and have tea and cake, and I really enjoyed that. Again, looking at the really pristine interiors of the city. Again, this photograph kind of matches this one. So the roughness of the exterior, the kind of dilapidated buildings and abandoned trucks compared to this, which is, yeah, immaculately cared for. This is a detail shot. I was really interested in this section here. This is like a faded blue summer motif, which kind of fitted really well with the time of year that I was there. It felt like summer would not come back. There was a lot of things that I found quite strange as well. This was one of them. The level of detail and the beauty in this was extraordinary. It was in the museum, and the photograph unfortunately didn't capture the background, which is curved, and it really gives you this sense of depth. This was also in the museum as well. Using images together when you're working in a book format is really an effective way of communicating ideas, and just simply the visual tone of them. If they fit together well, then yeah, it's a good layout. And also not being too conclusive with your photographs either. It's sometimes nice to have a little bit of uncertainty. I mean, it's really not clear what's going on here. You can't see enough of the people to make a judgment about what they're doing. You don't know what's happening inside there. And the graphic elements of the city is something that were really very cool as well. This photograph here was interesting. I felt like it was a bit of a collision of worlds in a way. You've got the modern public transport and the speaker shop here and stuff, but you also have this influence as well. This is the last image in the series, and this was as I was leaving Murmansk, actually headed south. This is more by luck than anything else, and I think you have to be ready to grab moments like this. As we were driving along, the sky just seemed to open up, and you have to be responsive and always have in the back of your mind the story that you're working on and the images that can complement that story. I thought I'd also show you some other work as well. These are shorter stories, so these happen over half a day or a day. This was photographed in Apatiti, and it was a bit of I just wanted to write something about, the tough guys of a place, and it's quite intimidating approaching these fellows, but they friendly and accommodating and easy to photograph. This is a series that I did for a web presentation. It's about an elderly dance and music club in Murmansk. I don't usually work in black and white, but the story just seemed to fit the format. This was a story from Finnmark, which was about a very small fishing festival in the Pacific Valley. The brief was, the story was quite loose, and I just really wanted to capture the feeling of the day. The weather was excellent, and the light in the north is, even in the middle of the day, it's very, very good. This was a photograph I did for an article which was published on NRK. I think it's important to sometimes you don't have to show the whole picture to really communicate an idea. Focusing it on one dog rather than pulling out and photographing them all, it gives you a bit more of a feeling it gives it a bit more personality maybe. This was from an ongoing project I did about the interior of Finnmark, the Kautokeino-Karasjok area. And this is from the same series. The last three images I wanted to show really are about the light in the north, and it's the reason I first came to the north. The light in the north is like nothing else in the world. It's really fantastic. Throughout the year, it is really, really great anytime. Any questions? Yeah.
What is so interesting for you in Murmansk? What is so attractive? Why in Murmansk?
In 2011, I met. I was volunteering for in 2011, I was volunteering for the Barents Spectacle, and I met a lot of Russians from Murmansk. The first time I was in the north, I was really only interested in Norway and in Kirkenes. That's as far as I'd kind of thought. But then meeting these Russians, people like Oleg, who was the first portrait I showed, they kind of told me a lot about the city and told me a lot of what it was like, and it seemed really exotic and interesting, and I wanted to know a lot more about it. It took me a few years to get back, but I'm very glad that I did. Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Very beautiful pictures.
Thank you.
There was information that, or you told that you would have a book. Tell about this book project more.
Yeah, the book is almost ready to go. It's more or less laid out, but I just haven't had the time to make the final step to publish it. I'll also be looking for some funding to do that as well. It's about Murmansk. So at the moment, I have more work from Murmansk. This series here that I showed was just from the first visit, and I'm not sure if I will bring in other work from subsequent visits, or I will just keep it as that first impression of Murmansk. I think I feel like having just that first impression is a stronger individual story for a book.
Okay, we have to quit there. You are going to be there the whole weekend.
Yes.
And you promised me to help people make new photos.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions or wants some tips, I'm always around to help.
Maybe you can show them more pictures.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Pensionerad reporter, Sveriges Television Umeå. Idag ska vi prata om gränsproblem och den verklighet som har drabbat oss bara det senaste året. Och till det här den här 3 kvarten vi har på oss så har vi 3 medarbetare från Finland, från Ryssland och från Norge här.